Hey guys, so this is actually could possibly be a very emotional video, but I feel it's necessary. It's something I've been kind of putting off, but I am doing it because I care about myself and you, and maybe if I'm going through some of this stuff and kind of navigating through it, then this will be an opportunity for maybe you guys possibly being in a similar situation and being able to relate and or helping you navigate through whatever situation you're going through. Um, there, there's definitely a lot of things going on in the world right now, and I actually went to go see Dr. Lucky last week for some of my own support physically. And in the process, some things that came up was the topic of death. And sorry if I start crying. I have, if you can't tell, I have had a few tears today. But so, some health issues that I'm currently dealing with right now and transmuting in this new season have come up, and so I went to go get some support from someone outside. It's always good to get an extra set of eyeballs on things that are happening, and what came up was some cysts in our fibroids growths. And when we could go back and look at when they started and keeping an eye on them and making sure that they're not in a compromised situation, um, we determined through a lot of different testing that they were actually started as a result of some death in my family. And something I don't talk about a lot: miscarriages. I've had 7 miscarriages, and that is not something that a lot of people talk about. Actually, I think it's getting a little bit more easier for people to talk about that, but it's kind of a quiet discussion. At least it has been for me over the years. But there were 7 babies that had heartbeats and were around, and one was 20 weeks, so I did have to deliver that baby. And so that came up. And then also, whatever, but my animals. I've had my dog pass away years ago, actually. And then in this last year, I had a cat that I had for 17 years pass, and then 2 of the kittens that I was fostering passed. Now, of course, everyone goes through all the emotions of the feelings that come up with that. And maybe you know what I'm talking about if you've ever been through all of those things, any of those things. But for the sake of teaching, I'm going to try to get through this, but for the sake of teaching, what can happen is when you have a loss, whether it is a baby or a parent or a family member or a dog or a cat, anything that's close to you, we as physical beings and creators can actually create cysts, fibroids, tumors to try to make up for the loss. A lot of times this can be in the reproductive system and also the thyroid area, really anywhere, but especially with babies, a lot of times it's in the reproductive area. With the thyroid, it could also be because it's hard to swallow. There can be issues of, just not digesting, and or issues with metabolism and thyroid because it's a lot to swallow, cancel. clear. So in my journey, we were able to pinpoint some of this, tracing back to that, and in order to move it out or transmute it, there are some things that we can do. I mean, there's physical things that people can do on a nutritional side, and then also castor oil packets really help. But if the emotion behind it is still there, then the body will try to create, something to hold so you can keep it. And one thing that came to my attention about 6-8 months ago, talking to Dr. Lucky too, is what he has seen even in his patients is urns in the house, having ashes, thinking that you've like let something go because you've like put, maybe have the ashes or what have you, and you go through it. But there's another step of actually letting it go, like burying it back into the ground, ashes to ashes. And with babies, a better choice even is to let something go to symbolize going back into the water as like it's the womb. So I am actually going out of town today because I have some babies to release into a water area. Dr. Lucky says it's best if on like baby shoes, if you knew the gender, to do like a blue if it's a boy, girl, pink, just because of the symbolism, and throw them into the water and just have like some sort of mental, spiritual, emotional ceremony to let them go. And so I'm doing that. And then I have 3 cat urns and also my dog, my favorite dog I ever had. And for those, it's better to actually bury them in the ground. So you may have like a person that was present with you, and that could also either be burial, or sometimes if it's like a divorce or something like that, maybe a rock to signify it and, bury it or get rid of it. So there's different ways that you can have some sort of ceremony, but these are ways, and we have seen when people do this and they actually they transmute their physical issues as sometimes instantly. And so I have been kind of putting it off because it is emotional. I didn't think it was going to be so emotional. I didn't really pinpoint why I was putting it off. But I think because it's like maybe final or doing it with all of them. And but so I'm packing and I'm about to go out of town, and then here I am like grabbing all of the urns and the box, and I found myself like really emotional and crying and realizing there's still a lot to move, even with people that I've lost this year. So I know that many of you are in that situation. So, loss, there really is no loss. They're always here with us. But it is just a part of life, death. And anyway, I just wanted to put this out, as difficult as it is and as vulnerable as I am. There may be some of you who are going through some physical issues, and it could possibly be tied to something like that, of just hanging out, having these ashes around, and or really not transmuting a divorce or a death of some kind. Divorce can be a death too. or miscarriages. Again, that's something that people don't necessarily always just like, oh, I'm seeing a lot more where people are super open and just put it all over Facebook. And then, I didn't even have Facebook for the beginning parts of some of my miscarriages because it was so many years ago. But some of them very much so. And, and I also just want to encourage you, when you see people who are posting or doing lives or, being in any sort of public arena, just be aware there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes sometimes that you're not aware of. And even someone at the grocery store or at the bank or walking around or at the gas station, you see someone and you smile, but a lot of people are going through a lot of pain right now. And a smile, a hug, a thumbs up, a kind word goes a long way. Being kind to one another and being kind on social media. And, you just never really know what people are going through behind the scenes. And so definitely vote my victory in these next few days as I travel to a specific place where I'm going to do all this. And I am very much with all of you. And I mean, I hear your stories. I do consultations nonstop. And so I hear the pain that people are going through with loved ones making choices that are irreversible and causing problems, and just the heartache of losing people in this season. And I'm just seeing so much death. So love you. Sending you love and support and energy, good vibes in this season, and definitely send good vibes to me. And, this is a new year and a new season. So I'm doing a lot of clearing, and I think a lot of us are, and I'm taking advantage of, I don't want to say advantage, I'm using the energies that are here to do a sweep into this new season that we're in. And I'm actually doing a workshop that you guys might be interested in regarding that and using these energies. January the 13th at 7 o'clock. We'll be talking and discussing a lot of tips on ways to move with these energies into this next time, because we can create our year, and we are divine creators. And this is a great, great season to kind of reevaluate where we are, what we choose, move out anything that isn't serving us, shift with people, jobs, clean the house even, refocus on detoxing the body and clearing the body physically, mentally, spiritually, outcome mapping, and really just, specifying what it is that we choose to make that perfect path for us. And so I'll go ahead and put the link in here too for anyone who wants to spend some time live in this workshop with me on the 13th. But in the meantime, happy Monday. Sending you love, and thanks so much for being my friends. Thanks for your encouragement. When you guys post positivity and stuff, I don't know if you realize how much that means to me, that you would take time to send something positive and loving. It means a lot more than you think. So I appreciate you and all you've been. So many of you have supported me for decades, and just know that it goes both ways. I love you too, and I appreciate you. All right. Talk soon. Bye.